Could Brian Flores be back as the Vikings defensive coordinator? All right, welcome back to the Onebar and Lupagus show. I am Onebar. Brian Flores, could he actually be coming back as our defense coordinator? Before we get to that, remember, subscribe to the channel, like the videos here every damn day. Talking Vikings, hit that notification bell as well. Plenty of talkers this offseason. We're not going anywhere. And one of the big talkers is if, in fact, Brian Flores will be back as the Vikings defensive coordinator. I mean, I assumed he was going to be a fairly hot and heavy name when it came to interviews and potential filling vacancy. I mean, there's like 6 or 7 head coaching vacancies out there, and there's already been a lot of interview requests for assistant coaches, offensive coordinators, defense coordinators, all that fun stuff. Brian Flores' name has not come up, and there's still plenty of time. There's still plenty of seats to fill, but I'm pretty damn surprised, and there's 2 parts of this, so stick around. So first off, I mean, obviously, Brian Flores deserves to be a head coach in this league. He does. You can look at his time in Miami. Oh, he sucked in Miami, blah, blah. There's a lot of stuff going on in Miami. We all know that, dictating what moves he could and could not make. Basically, they were tanking, and he just so happened to be the head coach. So I don't put a ton what he did in Miami, but what he's done everywhere else before Miami, with the Steelers last year, look what he did with this defense this year. I mean, he took a 31st ranked defense, made it to 16th ranked defense, which really doesn't really show how good he did with the type of players he had. I mean, the players he had, we should have still been like a 25th ranked defense, and he elevated these guys. 8th against the run. We saw it. At times, our defense was damn near dominant. All the players absolutely love this guy. So I'm very surprised that he's not getting interviews. That said, I mean, we all know his background with the NFL, suing the NFL, all that stuff. I mean, maybe he is actually, in fact, being blackballed as far as being a head coach. Last year, I thought he made the perfect move. He went to Pittsburgh, was a linebacker coach, did a very good job there too, and just kind of got out of the spotlight. Came to Minnesota. The Vikings said, hey, our defense sucks ass. Get over here and fix it. He absolutely did that. So very, very, very surprised he's not getting love. I thought New England would be a team that comes calling. Granted, they hired somebody within Jared Mayo, so they probably already knew who their next coach was going to be. But once that spot was filled, I'm thinking to myself, hot damn, this dude could come back. And I don't want to revel or take advantage of the fact that this guy's not getting head coaching opportunities, but Brian Flores coming back would be absolutely ginormous for the Vikings. We all know it. Imagine what he could do with a second year under this defense, a second year where we're probably going to be swapping out a lot of players. We got an early draft pick. Maybe we bring the big man in from Illinois, Newton. Maybe we bring in an edge rusher. Maybe we do something, but he's going to have a chance to get his hands even further, deeper into this roster. Let's go defensively. I think there's a lot of things he could still do. The last part of this is right now, if I had to say if he's coming back, I would say he's coming back. He would have had an interview request by now. That's just rude. That is just rude. That is like Lupagus on prom night, waiting, staring out his window for somebody to come be his date, and they just never show. So he just hangs out with his parents. But here's the other part of it. Kevin O'Connell. There's not much Kevin O'Connell lovers out there these days. If he actually goes out and has a horrible season next year, which I hope he doesn't, I want some wins. Brian Flores is kind of waiting there in the wings. The Vikings did take a chance on elevating Brian Flores from linebacker coach in Pittsburgh to defensive coordinator, which is a big jump, and maybe a lot of NFL teams, knowing Flores' background, wouldn't have done that. So the Vikings clearly don't really care about whatever you want to call it, not baggage, but just what he's got going on. So if Kevin O'Connell were just to go absolutely lay a turd or lay an egg, even mid-season, let's say they start off 1-7, something gross, Brian Flores is right there. You could elevate him. We've seen time and time again where Vikings coaches are just let go. Kevin's not let go, but they leave for better opportunities. Kevin Stefanski, Mike Tomlin, I'm missing a ton, but they're out there. So Brian Flores could potentially, again, I don't want this to happen. That means we're having a horrible season next year, but he could be a guy that they say, look, we got somebody in-house. Players love him. He's doing a great job. Let's elevate him. So that's the long story short. Brian Flores is looking like he could very well come back, which would be huge. I would hate the thought of going another direction, swapping out another defensive coordinator, having 3 in 3 years. So let me know thoughts below. Brian Flores, do you want him back? Do you think he's coming back? And what about the thought of him being potentially the next Vikings head coach?